There are just over 86,000 girls under the age of 18 living in Detroit, and nearly 80% are African Americans. African American girls from inner cities like Detroit face tremendous challenges.
A high school student faced a judge today charged in the brutal murder of his 17-year-old girlfriend on Detroit's west side.
We should not be sitting in school and have to hold our books on top of our head so a ceiling won't fall. You can literally hear the ceilings cracking.
Detroit schools say their building is literally crashing down on top of them, and they want the district to do something before someone is seriously hurt.
We chose 2 African American girls to tell their stories. These stories don't represent every issue young women face today, yet these are Monay and Shokana's relevant yet powerful stories. We had the pleasure of bringing women who work in the community along on their journeys.
When a fight is happening, the first thing kids think to do is pull out their phone and say, "War star." Once you hear the word "war star," start fighting for your life, because that means you're going global. My environment, it isn't a bad neighborhood, but some of the people there aren't good people. I mean, our house had got broken into before phone had got stolen. If you see a crime, it can be traumatizing. Like down the street from my house, a girl got raped. A young girl at my age. Kids are getting raped, shot, and sometimes it make kids think about life we could die any day. That the city that we live in, the world that we live in, period.
1 out of 4 violent episodes are being perpetrated by teen girls. A recent increase from just a generation ago was 1 girl to 10 boys.
We got into it with a lot of the upperclassmen in the 6th. Well, they were in the 8th, we were in the 6th. And so we decided to come up with our own crew, the girls that we had hang with. We came up with a group. We were called OKC, Out Cold Cuties. It was 8 of us. We rapped, we sing, we dance, stuff like that. But we always were together because they were planning on jumping us, and that's how our crew came about.
I never told other kids about my disabilities. I used to only tell my teachers because they were the only people that needed to know. Because if something happened to me, or if I passed out, or if my head started hurting horribly, the teachers were the ones who had to call my mom, not the kids. So they didn't really tease me about that. They mostly teased me about other things, like my face and my hair and my chest. I used to get depressed about it. Having a shunt in spina bifida was tough because I felt weird. I felt like an outcast. I knew that even though I looked like everyone else, I was totally different. They did not have to deal with these things. They didn't have to deal with the pain and the discomfort and not being able to do other things like other kids. There's certain things I just can't participate in because I can't risk getting hurt. First of all, if you're not somebody I've been knowing for at least 4 to 5 months, you never find out. Because I have to know that I have to trust you and you're not backstabbing and you're not going to hit me in my back because you know you can hurt me or try to fight me and hit me in my head. I have to stay out of fights too, because if I get hit in the wrong place, that could be it because they're trying to harm me.
My 9th grade year, 2nd semester, I got kicked out of school for fighting. The first time was at the beginning of the school year. I fought because she approached me in the wrong way and we began fighting. The second, I never had a problem. Well, yes, I did. I had a problem with the second girl, but it was because I fought her because of my friend who was pregnant. So she was swinging on her, so I had to swing on. I had to jump to her defense.
My name is Reverend Neil, and Monay is one of my granddaughters. I have to be very nice and kind to her and patient with her. I had to realize that she's a young lady and she's not knowledgeable how to handle certain situations. So a lot of time I just tell her just to say, I will not argue, I will not fight, and put it in her mind and say it aloud to herself. So when she get into situations that she will not go through 'em. But our relationship is very good. It's just that sometimes I have to control myself when I see her doing certain things. My hope for Monay is very simple. That she follow the instructions of the Lord God and Jesus, and that she study the word that will give her life. I believe that Monet just needs some self-control. And the only way she gets self-control is she find a place, a peace, where she can think about things in a controlled atmosphere.
I would say the anger issue is still there. I I mean it's getting better, but to me it's still there. I mean it's something, and I think that's the problem. I don't know exactly what it is or why it's still in me, but it's something that I'm holding on to. My parents, of course, they weren't happy about me fighting. I mean, they never understood why exactly they never understood why I was fighting. Like my mom, she couldn't, I felt that she couldn't be the mom that I needed because she had to work all the time. My dad, he stayed at work as well. I mean, he's an alcoholic. He drinks a lot.
Yes, I'm aware of the issues that she has with her parents, and her parents has been rebellion to me. So if you rebelling to a elder and you doesn't do what the elder wants you to do, then how do you expect your children to follow you? What I have to do different is to speak more positive words to her. Speak things that would build her up in confidence, encouragement.
To me, the most important thing in a girl's life is their parent. Like, if you don't have a mother, exactly who do you have? Who do you have to lean on?
My pregnancy was awesome because I had rheumatoid arthritis, and so I always had a lot of pain. And during my pregnancy, I had no pain. My arthritis went into remission, so I was very happy. I thought I would be very moody, but I wasn't. But it was a scary moment when the doctor said that, you might have to do a test. I forgot what they call it, where they put the needle in your stomach to see something's going on with the baby. That was scary. I remember just leaving the doctor's office crying, and then I remember stopping in the middle of the street and just start apologizing to my stomach, telling her, I'm so sorry that I'm making you feel this emotion of fear, because if God allowed me to be pregnant, then he must feel like I can handle whatever's gonna happen. Because the doctors were talking about maybe you want to get an abortion, and some parents don't want to deal with children that might have a disability, and kind of went through that whole thing. They kind of said, based off our tests, we think that she will most likely have spina bifida. Just when the back doesn't develop at a certain stage, her back didn't completely seal up or something, so the nerves would were coming out into this bubble. And they told me that she would, most likely when she's born, they have to have an operation to push the nerves in. Then they had to keep her in the hospital for 3 weeks. And she's hooked up to all these cords, and they had to have an operation immediately. She had 2 operations within that 1 week. One with her back, with the spina bifida, and the other one was the shunt. And she was such a trooper, a good baby. She didn't mind getting a needle stuck. She didn't cry. She didn't do all that crying and stuff. So she helped me be more stronger.
Under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, 6.7 million children are served. Of those, African Americans are the second highest to receive services.
I didn't really feel like I couldn't be like other kids. It's just that I just know I had to take more care of my body more than everyone else. Like, I'm not really a team player anyway. I don't like people like that, but I still like I still play with people. I know there's a certain point that I can't go past, because if I do, I'm going to hurt myself. And I don't want to deal with the consequences because it's really painful.
My most fear is that I will not succeed and I will give up. That's what I keep trying not to do. I do not want to give up, because I find myself going back down the road I came from. When I got to 9th grade, I promised myself this was going to be it. I was on track. My grades were okay. I was not going to fight. But I ended up fighting, and I feel like I'm going back and forth, and I'm letting myself down, and I'm going back down the road I came from.
Thank you for coming out to this workshop. I definitely appreciate your presence, and I just want to acknowledge you all for taking this on, even though you have absolutely no clue what this is all about, right? Does anyone know what this workshop is about? Yes.
Empowering women, young women such as ourselves.
Yes, that is definitely one of the goals for this workshop. In fact, the name of my company, as you will see, is called Empowered Flower Girl. And we produce workshops that combat teasing, cyberbullying, drama, cliques, and relational aggression, mostly those mean girl type of behaviors that girls and women often exhibit toward one another. I was once your age, and I had some challenges growing up. Now I may be standing in front of you today as someone who may seem calm and poised, at least I hope that's how I come off to you, and who really loves herself.
Absolutely.
But once upon a time, I didn't feel that way.
Right.
I actually had been picked on, ostracized, bullied, and harassed on a daily basis. We're here today because many of you have experienced some of those things. So we're going to talk, and we're going to express our feelings, as well as we're going to share some things that maybe have been on our minds, maybe things that have challenged us in the past, but we're looking forward to a brighter future, right? And feel free to raise your hands if I say something that has applied to you. Has anyone ever felt alone, felt bad about who they are because of the neighborhood that they lived in? Has anyone been picked on, teased, bullied, or ostracized for having a disability, one whether you could see or cannot see? And finally, has anyone been picked on for maybe the way you wear your hair, the style of your clothes? If you haven't, if you're square, or you don't smoke, or you don't drink, or do all the other things that the other students are doing in your school, right? So we kind of all been there. There's been something that someone found wrong with us, right? So who would like to share a moment where they came face to face with the fear? And if you could tell us what that fear was and how you used your power to overcome that fear.
When I was born, too much fluid was clouding my brain, so they put something called a shunt in me to pump out the fluid. So it started acting up in June, and then July I went to the doctor and they said that I had to have surgery because the place that it was in my stomach. It created a cyst in my stomach, which was like a skin full of fluid, and I couldn't eat or go to the bathroom like I needed to. So they had to drain out the cyst and then put my shunt in a different place, in a vein next to my heart instead of it being in my stomach. So this was different, and I wasn't prepared for it because I didn't know. I thought it was just going to be the same thing, like replacing it, but they moved it. And it was something that I was really nervous about because I'm like, I kind of need my heart to live. So I was like, this is kind of nerve-wracking. But I was really
How many of you all can understand why she would be a little fearful of going into that surgery, right? I know I would. Because of your participation. You'll get a journal. Because what has really helped me in my life is writing down and expressing my feelings. So if you could, just share a little something, some sort of message of empowerment for girls and young women out there that maybe have had fears that they had to face, or maybe those who are being bullied and teased and ostracized and harassed on a daily basis? What encouragement or empowerment could you give them? Sure.
There are other options. Just what you're going through, you will get through. Yes. And
okay, thank you. And you all have a good evening and be safe. And I'm looking forward to your contributions, and I'm looking forward to see what's in store for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
According to Pew Research, 35% of teens have some experience with dating or romantic relationships. 18% are currently in a relationship of some kind.
What drew me to Shokana was she had a good vibe to her. I think it was when we first got back from school, from the break. She told me she had a doctor appointment on Monday.
He wanted to know specifically why, and I said I'm nosy.
Because I'm nosy.
Yes, very.
You didn't have to have that explained. I gave it to her after her birthday because she had been with me for so long, and we had already had a lot of problems. She still stuck with me. So I gave it to her as a present. It was like the most expensive present I ever bought. I spent $436 on it. Get off me. I promise that if she stays here and she keep it on, I'll stay. As long as she wear it, I'll stay. Because I know she still love me. Because she still got it on.
So you get mad at me when I get in the shower and I take it off?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, it's gold, but it should not.
I took it off. I'm sorry. Sorry, don't be mad at me.
What do we do? She likes to eat. And she likes to go places and eat, and she does like to play cards or games and stuff of that nature. And she loves to take pictures.
my granddad has a positive influence over my life. He's the one person that I can look to and actually learn from, rather than look, because most of my family aren't much role models. I mean, he's the person that I can actually look to.
In the older generation, they are set in their ways. So I would just simply say to the older generation, listen with attentive ears, not just listen. Listen to see where you can resolve issues at. Because a lot of times you cannot resolve all the issues, but pick one or two that you're capable of helping with and start from there.
I was only asked to kind of do a few things, which are walk home, straight home from school, get good grades, and do your chores and homework, and not get smart with me. While those things was happening, she kept taking different routes home, and she was like, what difference does it make if I take a different route home, as long as I come home on time? So I'm like, I don't know where you're at. I don't know what you're doing. And I've had several conversations with her about her just telling me where you're going. Like, asking me, if you're going to the gas station, tell me. Because something happened to you, and the police say, well, what route does she walk? I'm thinking you walking straight down Schoolcraft, and you're all somewhere else doing some other stuff. I said, so it's a safety issue. And her, you know, like I say, it's a lot of changes that happened this year. Her disability, her grades. Her boyfriend graduated this year from high school. She was afraid not to be in that high school with him. She was saying nobody didn't like her. She got him and her got a lot of flack for being together for whatever reason. They're teenagers, and I told her that's why I never dated people in my school, at my job, or where I live at, because people create drama. And so she really experienced that drama, and so she was like, no one likes me, the girls there don't like me because of him, and she didn't want to walk to school by herself, you know. But she has walked to school every day, whether it was with him or a group of other kids. And I was like, I'm not gonna tell you that I'm gonna take you to school every single day unless you're hurting and the weather's really bad. So she went over her dad's house and was crying, and my mom didn't want to take me, and I'm scared for my life. I don't want to walk to school by myself. It's gonna be dark. I'm like, but you've been doing it for 2 years. Are you kidding me? And so her dad got upset and called me one day and said, well, how do you feel about girls walking to school with all these people getting kidnapped and raped? I told him I feel fine about it. Because I knew when he asked me that she had already been over there talking to him. I knew what it was about. And I'm just like, I feel fine with that. He was so upset. Like, what do you mean? Something happened to my baby, I'm gonna hurt you, and nothing bad happened. I said, she walks to school every day. I said, so if you're so concerned about her walking a mile from up to school, like she's been doing every day back and forth, then she is welcome to come live with you. Or buy her a car. Because I said, you told me you would buy her a car, but you told her, I'll buy you a car if you come live with me. I said, so maybe she needs to come live with you. So that was the decision Anna made. He didn't want her to walk to school. And I guess he's going to get her a car. So I said, so she gets into it with her stepmom or whatever. She has issues with them, but she was like, I think I should go live with my dad. I said, okay. I said, I think you should too. I said, because you're going to be 18, that's your baby. You can't be scared to walk down the street because your boyfriend is not with you.
Yes, I went to school with her and talked to one of her teacher, and she was having a conference with the teacher, supervisor, and the manager of the school. And I simply said that the way the policy was going, that they was expelling children without giving them an option to actually stay in school and learn. Because if you expel a child, then you're defeating your purpose, because schools is there to teach. And regardless to how the personality or the conflict of the child, there is supposed to be enough social worker or someone capable of putting them in a place by themselves for a while and still teach that child. Because due to the fact we have a lot of students out in the street because of their misbehavior, but misbehavior is not teaching them how to learn to be successful.
Today, I want the girls to understand that our emotions play a critical role in how we feel about ourselves. And if we understand how to process our anger, our frustration, our jealousies, not to feel bad about any emotions that we have, but just to process through them and continue to move forward. So our workshop today is actually on anger management. A lot of times things happen, emotions arise, and we hear a lot of violence going on today. So we have to find a way to silence the anger, not dismiss that it exists, but we have to start managing this, because if you look at the statistics on our youth, killing youth, you can't just get mad, fly off the handle, and now your whole future is impacted. Think about it. I'm sure you're hearing the stories, you're hearing your schools, some things are going on. So you want to talk about, what are some things that's going on around you in your environment? What are some things you need to be aware of so you can manage better, so you're not it doesn't become something that stifles you and how you grow into becoming young ladies. Let's just use the example here for Monay. Let's say if at 12 years old, when that happened, and she felt like she wasn't protected, she wouldn't be angry today, 4 years later. Monay's gonna go back to when she was 12, and she's gonna write a letter to her mother. Mother, you're gonna use the same list. Mother, I was angry. Mother, I was sad. You could take each word. I was afraid that I'm sorry that you might thought I didn't need you. Go ahead.
Actually, I did. Well, it's not a letter. I wrote a poem. It's basically
awesome. Well, here's some power emotions that you can use. It frustrates me that you didn't help me. I was disappointed because I thought my mom would be there. Now I'm worried. Who's going to keep me safe? It's embarrassing that you would think you could help my brother and not help me, whatever your words are. It makes me a little jealous of my brother. Like, why is he so special you would protect him over me? It hurts me, Mom. It's been hurting me all this time. Now I'm scared. Who's going to be there for me? Now my behavior, sometimes I'm ashamed of it, but I'm always angry. So that's step 2, a feeling letter. Was that a good example? I really appreciate you guys taking this journey for your life so that you can reclaim your destiny and enjoy teenage years light. Your heart should not be heavy.
This time, it was more so because it was at the end of the year, and they said, like, because it wasn't just one person, it wasn't just a one-on-one fight, they related it as a gang fight. So then it was pushed further until basically I can't come back until I go to court. But I don't think I'm going to have to go to court because I never got papers.
Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death amongst Black youth. Depression is found to be more common in girls than boys.
We're built to be strong. Yes, I get that, but at the same time, we need help, and we're struggling out here. And sometimes we're not in our right mind. Sometimes we're very depressed. Sometimes we're dealing with a lot of issues in our lives, and they don't get talked about. They just get glossed over as just change your mindset. There's nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly fine.
I'm coming to you all because I have once been in your shoes. The workshop that I'm going to conduct today, I had to kind of address these issues within myself. So I feel that I can relate to what I'm going to be talking to you about today. Is that pertaining to you? We're going to wrap up, but I want you to choose one bag that you want to completely get rid of today, because I know that you can't. It's not realistic to say, let all of it go. It's not realistic. It's a step-by-step type ordeal. So I want you to choose one bag that you truly want to be free from. A lot of us, we want to hold back the tears. We so strong, but even the strongest share the tear. And it's definitely healing. It's definitely cleansing. It definitely helps you so that all that stuff is not stuck and you don't carry it as long.
Mine is abuse and suicide. So I'm going to start with the abuse, which led to my suicidal thoughts. So abuse was with a couple of my family members. Like, my worst accident was with my older brother, who beat me really bad, really bad. Like when I was 13, I'm 16 now. And my mom, she really didn't do nothing about it. And she, to this day, like, I just left her house because she beats on me too. Like, how I'm feeling right now, I'm too old for that, like too old for so years ago, like, I tried to commit suicide twice. My first time I drank alcohol when I was little. I was like around 10 or 9. And my second time was 13. And I had popped 20 pills, but it was Tylenol. But I went to sleep, and then I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was throwing up and stuff, and I couldn't breathe. But my mom would not take me to the hospital. But I guess I threw all the pills up, but she instead, like, that was the time I needed her the most, and she went around to my family and was like, yeah, Monay dumb, she tried to commit suicide, and everyone in my family would just go around like, oh yeah, Monay, you stupid, like, why would you do something like that? But now, as I, like, look at it, like, still to this day, it bothered me because, like, not one person asked, like, why would you try to do that? Like, why are you so unhappy with your life? Because the way they look at it is, I'm living a nice life because I can get anything that I want, but it's more deep than that. Yeah.
So do you still have those thoughts? Is that still a desire of yours?
I don't have thoughts of harming myself, but it's thoughts that I just sometimes I think, like, shoot, just the other day, like, I just don't want to be here. Like, sometimes it's just like, why, like why did God choose this for me? But then I have positive thoughts sometimes, but it seems like I'm going back down the same road.
So what are the things that kind of bring you back? Like, what are the positive things that keep you or prevent you from actually going through suicide?
I guess whatever you go through, you get through. Like, I'm going through it right now, and I'm getting through it. I'm still alive, but it's still like, I don't know, because I don't know. It's just like, I have faith in myself. I have hope. I have God. So I hold on. I pray about it. Even though it don't seem God answers me when I want him to or help me when I want need, he's always there.
One of the bags is guilt. I feel guilty for a lot of stuff. I grew up with people that I know, people in my family, that just made me feel guilty for a lot of things. Like, and I almost feel like it was wrong for me to breathe. Like, anything that they didn't like about me, they made sure I knew it, and not only did I know it, they rubbed it in my face, which made me feel even worse, because it's like, okay, hearing it once is irritating, and then hearing it a few times is like, okay, is it true? Like, do you start questioning yourself? Like, okay, well, I don't like guilt. I have a lot of that still from when I was a child. And forgiveness. A lot of people have done things to me that hurt, scarred me for a long time. Still dealing with it, and I know I have to forgive them because I'm the only person that's gonna be holding it, and they're probably moved on with their lives by now. But I'm still upset. I'm still very hurt about it, and the reason I know I haven't forgiven them is because every time I think about what happened, I get angry or I feel the same emotion I already did in the situation all over again. So I know I haven't let it go. It's really hard. Some people I've gotten through, but there's other people I haven't. And it's just the daily struggle for me. I can't just up and just stop. The pain is really bad. It's like, some of that stuff was like, why did it even happen? I felt like it was really unnecessary, and they were just doing it just because, I don't know, it was fun. I don't know. It's just like that was unnecessary. I get more angry when I don't understand things. Like, if I can make sense of it and see why you did it, I can probably let it go a little quicker.
Right here at the end of the table is garbage can. The bag that you have chosen, after we read this paper, I'm gonna have you all come one by one, and we're gonna trash it. Trash that bag, we're gonna throw it right on in there. So if we can all read this together. I am strong. I am a strong, responsible woman. I release all negativity in my life now. I let go of my regrets. I forgive myself. I let go of the things others have done to me. I forgive them. I release. I let go, and the past is gone.
I release, I let go, and the past is gone.
What you all have gone through, this is the first step. What you have done is a step that many people have not yet taken. I commend you.
Last workshop was great. Like, I have yet to contact her, but it really helped me a lot with a lot of things. Like, I went home, went over the notes and stuff. Like, I feel more open, but it didn't really, I don't know, it helped a lot in a lot of ways.
Well, life has been a little harder for me lately because the arthritis I was diagnosed with maybe 3 or 4 months ago
has been really getting to me. It puts spasms in my hands and my feet. So sometimes it's harder to walk, and I can't get up, or I'm taking my time because I get really sharp pains in my feet, like I'm stepping on nails, and it's really painful. And then in my hands, I get spasms in my hands, and they either lock up or the blood flow in them stop, and then I get really sharp pains and stiffness. So when I'm at school, I have to use a tablet now instead of writing, because I can't keep up with the class, because when they take notes, you have to go at the teacher's pace, not yours. So my grades were slipping because I couldn't get all the notes, and I wasn't passing the test. Okay, I had got into my friends had fought Monday, and that following Tuesday, their friends, the girls that my friends had fought, had came back, and we got into an altercation. One of the girls said something. It was actually 4 of them. One of the girls said something to me, and I responded, and it went from there. And we ended up getting suspended for 5 days. All my grades went down. Like, I had a lot of catching up to do. Still catching up. At the end of the day, it's always my choices, my choices. I'm the only one who can control me, but my granddad told me I should have ran. When 6 girls approached me, he said, you should have ran. So.
But why didn't you?
Because I'm Monay, had to say something back.
Black girl magic is, it's when a black girl does amazing despite all the negative chatter, the stereotypes.
Black women are often in the margins. It's a phrase that is causing us to pay attention to black women. We're here and we are visible and we have a lot to offer.
I be thinking everybody's pretty. Everybody pretty in their own way, beautiful in their own way.
Like at home and at school.
So that tension start escalating. When you get that kind of tension, you feel a need to do something to kind of get it right, or it triggers you to make you respond when you get angry or something. Tell me about that tension. What does it do? When the tension...
at home it don't it does trigger me. I don't know.
So how do you think a child would feel that does not have a mother to help them in this big, wide world, that people can crowd upon you, try and attack you? How would a child feel? Think of a little girl that you may know that lives down the street. She's 5 years old, and the people in the neighborhood pick on her, and she can't go tell her mom to help her. How would you feel about that little girl? Would you feel sorry for her?
Yes, because as any child, the most important people in your life is your parents or any guardian or anyone that you grew close to or raised you, period. You would expect more of them and for them to be there more.
And so your mom is not there. She's created that vacuum, that void, that openness, so you feel vulnerable sometimes. You just said how important it is to have, and you also said that you don't have it. Can you understand how a child would feel if you just take it from you and your mom, think of that little girl down the street? That's an interesting life she's going to live, isn't it? Can you feel how she feels? Is that same little girl inside of Monay? That little girl down the street, hoping somebody can help her feel safe in the world? Does that little girl share similar feelings with you?
Yes.
And who's going to help that little girl if we don't get her some help? Can you understand why that little girl might be ready to fight if she doesn't feel safe? It's okay. Would you like me to hold your hands right now? I'm going to ask you to just rest your hands in my hands. It's okay. Just take a minute. Feel that little girl. Close your eyes if you want to. Close your eyes. Think of that little girl that's down the street. It's okay. It's okay. That little girl down the street. Her mom's not there. She's only 5 years old. What is she supposed to do? She's supposed to go to school and people say stuff and she's supposed to think it's okay. She's not going to be concerned, frightened, fearful. I want you to give that little girl a voice right now. Imagine yourself that 5-year-old little girl and not Monay, that's 16 in this chair. Tell me what that little girl wants to say. You like to grab a Kleenex? Go ahead. Tell me what that little girl would say. She's been wanting to say something a long time. This is her time to get it out so she can enjoy the rest of her school year. She can catch up. She can look forward to graduation. She can look forward to college. What is that 5-year-old little girl down the street you see? Look in her face. And if you want to close your eyes, you can. Look in that little girl's face. What is she asking for?
For someone to help her and guide her and walk through every dark moment with her. And hold her at night and tell her.
What's on your mind? Tell me about it. What's going on? Do we need to stop the camera? You good? Okay. Think about some little girl out there watching you. She wants to be happy. She wants to feel loved. She wants to know there's hope. How can we help you feel hope? What one word you feel right now? Just give me a word. Frightened, scared, angry, disappointed. What is it? It's hard to speak right now.
I don't think I actually, I don't know. I don't think I actually really, really want help. Like everything I do, everything I know, I taught myself. Like I'm my own person. I do what I want. I don't yearn for help or no guidance. I wanted guidance before, like when I was growing up and how to be a lady and things like that. But now I just want to figure it out on my own. I'm tired of everyone trying to guide me in the wrong. They not guiding me the right way. Because certain people, I look at them as if, how can you possibly help me? Like, I want to help myself. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me or, I don't know.
We're here to help you help yourself. But we want to help you understand yourself. If you understand yourself,
If I look down the road from Monay 5, 10 years from now, as she develops into what she's supposed to be, I see great success for her. And I believe that Monay will be a role model for a lot of different children that are going through the same thing that she has went through.
I would like to know more about the job part at the moment because I feel like they're going to try to pay me less or treat me differently just because I can't do the same thing as anybody else who would have that job. And that's not fair, but you can't really, people have to be forced into treating you right. This world that we live in, they have to be forced into treating you right. So I just want to know I want to know all my laws and what they can and can't do to me and how to manipulate it because they're definitely going to try to manipulate me. So if you could help me with that, that would be great.
Well, I can speak on the employment part of it. When you seek employment, first of all, know what you want to do and have the skills for the job. When you apply for a job, if you have the skills for that job, they cannot turn you down. For an interview, they have to give you an interview if you are qualified for the job. Say if they have 20 positions and they pick you and they interview you and you are qualified for the job, even with your disability, they have to make reasonable accommodations for you to work at that job place.
They have to?
They have to.
Right. Now, I don't want them to disqualify me just because it's something I can't help because I want to be that type of person who is exposed to all different types of jobs because you can learn something even from McDonald's.
Right.
So I don't want to be disqualified or have my opportunities cut short just because there's something that I can't control.
We'll use McDonald's for instance. You get hired in. You hadn't talked about your disability, nothing. But once you got hired in, you said to them, I do have spinal bifida and sometimes I need breaks to either sit down or, if I'm sitting down too long, I need to stand up and stuff. I need you to accommodate me. Now, if they say no, then they're in trouble.
Yes.
So they shouldn't say no, because then you can take it to one of us who can help you advocate to them that this is what they have to do.
I want to be a financial advisor, so honestly, I don't think that job might require me to stand. It could not. It depends on what I'm doing specifically.
Right.
But I don't want them to tell me that I can't do something or I can't, go somewhere just because.
Right.
I don't want that to happen.
And that's what I would do. I would seek out a job that you know that you can do.
Right.
If you can't stand for long, then I wouldn't advise going to McDonald's.
Right.
I would advise, doing something where you can sit down and you can take breaks when you need breaks.
The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, prohibits employers from discriminating against employees or applicants with disabilities in all aspects of employment, including hiring, pay, promotion, firing, and more. It also protects employees from retaliation when they enforce their rights under the law.
Well, hello, girls. I am Dr. Eileen Nichols. I'm a minister and a counselor, and I see you guys are working on your vision boards.
I want to be able to guide my child in the right direction. I want to focus from my car. It's my favorite car, and I like it. Yeah, it's pink. And this is my medical, I have a lot of medical issues, so I want to learn how to take care of my body better.
My self-esteem has grown. I learned a lot more things about myself because the workshops that we were doing were workshops that helps you have more insight on yourself and the way you feel about certain things and make you look at life differently and have a different perspective on your environment and your own internal self. So I learned a lot. Since I've gotten diagnosed with the disease and the arthritis, being independent is one of the things I want to learn how to do the most because it bothers me to feel like I can't do something just because I have a limitation. But people push their limitations all the time, and I don't feel like that makes me any different. And I'm not going to let my disabilities hold me back because it's just an obstacle that I have to overcome. But it doesn't mean I have to stop running the race just because the hump is too high.
There are thousands of African American young women in the city of Detroit and millions across the country. These are just two of the girls' stories. Stories that represent anger, frustration, pain, faith, and love.